And welcome to Promise Resource Network. This is Expansions with me. I'm Jane. Welcome to now. I am so excited about this topic. I feel like when I thought of this, I was like, this is the perfect time to talk about this. So I'm going to give everyone a moment to tune in. As you tune in, if you would like to drop a line in the chat that just says like, "Hey, I'm here." I think that would be fantastic. And while everyone tunes in and catches on and chimes in to say, "Hey, let me know how you're doing," I am going to light a wee bit of sage, clear the air, clear the space, set my mind, set my body, set my spirit, all in a way that feels good. So hopefully you all are feeling all right today. There's been, I don't know if y'all have noticed, but there's a lot going on in the world. Look at that. It's like the collective awakening is beginning to occur right in front of our very eyes. So I just want to send some grace out there to every human being on this earth plane as we're all navigating a really interesting now reality, witnessing things that we necessarily don't want to witness, experiencing things we don't necessarily want to experience, and trying to figure out how the hell to get through it all, right? Want to say hey to Mama Jane who's joining us. Hey Tina, how are you? I'm happy you're here. How are y'all feeling? Are you all feeling the weight of all that is happening in the nows? Or are you feeling light and effervescent and clear? Let me know how you're feeling as you tune in. I've been talking to a lot of people this week who are feeling the weight, really feeling heavy, um, feeling the stress, the burden, the energy of the collective. Um, yeah, feeling a lot. A lot of people are feeling a lot right now. So I actually want to do like a check-in, like as you tune in, like if you can just be like, you know, good, bad, indifferent, anything. I'm I'm curious how everybody's feeling. I want to say hey to Tyler, who's in the house. It's so good to know you're here. Because apparently I wanted to sing. It's so interesting um, what comes out when people tune in. I like that Tyler put the in the chat the all these really beautiful rainbow hearts. And I'm like, those match my earring. Hey. Oh, I love it. So y'all, let's just take a deep breath, shall we? Just breathe in wherever you are. And let this breath go. Let's do a couple more. Just breathe. However you want to breathe. If you want to take big breaths, little breaths, but breathe an intentional breath. Feel the air flowing in and out of your nose or your mouth. Feel your lungs expand. Feel your body. Feel the weight of your body on this earth. Feel your divine presence in this now moment. Just breathe. Just breathe. In this now moment, you are sheltered, you are safe, you are well, you're present, you are peace, you are love, you are divinity. Breathe. Just breathe. A lot of short, shallow breathing has been happening when we're under times of stress. So call on your big breath. Just fill up, Buttercup. Take a moment. I feel like we're all on the same frequency now. But for real. Oh, yes. Kelsey is in the house. I want to say hey and is sharing, but she's feeling overwhelmed with starting a new school semester, interning, a new schedule for me and all the kids. And that's a lot on top of what's happening on the global scale. Take a deep breath, my friend. Hopefully, after the end of this hour, you will feel better, more aligned, more uplifted, more expanded, and just all around better. I want to say hey to Roberta, who's joining us. My mama Jane is chiming in and says that my mind keeps thinking about what might happen with protesters, just tired of the anger, the non-unification, etc., on top of the COVID cases, right? I feel like now's the time where our mind is focused on so many things. I feel like when we turn on the news, it's COVID, it's government, it's politics, it's vaccines, it's fighting, it's a lot of stories that are about separation and divide. We forget how unified we are in our hearts and in our consciousness. We forget how unified we are as a human tribe of one. We forget that. And none of those images are really shown on the media because, let's be honest, they don't sell the tickets. They don't. So I'm glad that you're aware that, like, that it's your mind that and where it's focusing. So perhaps for the next 50 something minutes that we're together, whenever you watch this, you let your mind just be present. Be present to this now moment. Be present with your body. Be present with your breath. Be present with the community on this beautiful digital platform that we all get to connect with and on. So let's all breathe together. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome. So y'all, so I remember when I was younger, having this rubber bracelet, the rubber, like the Lance Armstrong, like the whatever rubber bracelets that have like the messages on it. I remember having one that someone gave me, and it was WWJD. And this was in a time in my life that I was like, I'm an atheist. Like that was like, but I wouldn't tell anyone that because I lived in the Bible Belt and I knew that I would have been like totally stoned, right? Not like stoned, but like, throw rocks at you, you're stoned. Anyway, so I remember having that bracelet. Yeah, Tyler, yeah, exactly. So I remember having that bracelet and I was like, yo, I don't like, this is not resonating for me, right? And then I was like, well, wait a minute, what would Jane do, right? And I was like, okay, now I can wear this bracelet because it's what would Jane do? Little did I know that at that time, I was probably saving my life in a lot of situations because I would look at that silly bracelet and say, what would Jane do? And it was never, what would the fearful Jane, what would the angry Jane? It wasn't where would the depressed Jane choose, right? It was always like, where would Jane, right? My higher self, this like higher frequency resonant self, like what would my adult self say? Because I was younger at the time. So I was like, what would my adult self say? Like when I'm like 23 and an adult, right? Little did I know frontal lobe wasn't even going to be formed yet. Joke's on me. Anyway, so I had this bracelet and I changed it in my mind to what would Jane do? So I don't know where the bracelet is anymore and it doesn't even matter. And hey, Marv, I'm happy you're here. And yes, Tyler, you read my mind. So, the bracelet's gone, right? What else? And now as I've shifted through my spiritual growth and all of my spiritual everything, I go back to this. And I'm not exactly asking myself, what would this dude do? That doesn't resonate for me. It would be like asking myself, like, I could also ask myself, like, what would Krishna do? What would Krishna do? The Lord of love and compassion. What would the Buddha do, right? WWJD, right? Just doesn't flow off the tongue as well. But now I ask myself, what would love do, right? What would compassion do? What would joy do? That's what I ask myself, especially when I'm having a really hard time, when I'm having the feelings of being burdened with life, when I can't get my mind out of this focus point, when I can't get my mind out of this like unwell gutter that sometimes it gets stuck in, when I can't seem to like crawl my mind out of wherever the hell it's been. I ask myself this question: what would love do? It's what I want to share and talk about, and I would love to hear your thoughts, feelings, ideas, anything, your opinions. I would love to hear what comes up for you through this conversation. Please. Thank you in advance. Because y'all, we are going through an epic, strange time. Like I can't even turn on the news. Like I can't. Like there's no way. Which, before I forget, y'all, if check this out, boom. If you all ever are in a time of need or desire and you're like, I need to talk to another human being because I am having a moment. Like if you're in that thought loop of like, everybody's fighting, no one's coming together. What are they going to do about the COVID and the vaccines? And I can't get out of this loop, and you just need a healthy diversion. Call this warm line. Please, it's free. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The number is 833-390-7728. Take a screenshot. No, other way. Take a screenshot and call it. Give it a shot. I would encourage it. So note that. And then I'm going to go back to what we were chatting about. So, yes, Tina says it's an epic shit show. I'm quoting that. Seriously, though, it really is. It really is. I'm going to record, if not tonight, tomorrow, a big download vision that I got, and I'll be posting it on my personal YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed to Jane the Guide YouTube, do it. If you haven't subscribed to this Promise Resource Network YouTube channel, do it. Yeah, Tyler, it's a warm line. As opposed to a hotline. I feel like a hotline is when a hotline for me feels very aggressive, right? Like to me, it feels aggressive, and it also feels kind of fast. Like just get them in, get them out. It's a hotline, right? I feel like a warm line is actually compassionate based. That's how I take it. So that's what I say the difference is. Who knows? Actually, Promise Resource directors know, and they could probably give you a way better, more thorough explanation, but that's the way I see it. So, y'all, what would Jesus do, right? What would the Jesus do? Yeah, thinking about this dude, right? This dude that the story goes, and y'all know I haven't read the Bible. I know. I should probably do that. It's a big book. Let's be honest. Anyway, too busy reading my metaphysics books. Nerd alert. Anyway, so, the story of the dude, right? The dude that walked around and was like, hey, y'all, I am, get this, the Son of God. Yeah, that source dude, I'm the son of that. But no, dog, I am not special because you are too. In fact, we all are. We're all God's children, right? We're all fractals of source energy. We are all figments of the oneness. We're pieces of the oneness in this one human body. That oneness, y'all, is love. It's unconditional love. It is acceptance like what? Like no critic. It is accepting what is and blazing saddles moving through it. Not seeing the darkness and the death and the pain and the suffering. Seeing it, however, knowing that the reality is that it is all love, and I am love and you are love. We're just expressing ourselves in lower density frequencies and paradigms and vibrations, right? We're expressing ourselves like the fear beings that we are conditioned to be. So here he goes walking around, right? Being like, hey, everybody, I'm love, you're love. Hey. I see him like total finger guns, like, Jesus, right? And I see him like walking around, like healing people, right? Healing people from like burdensome thought forms, from physical ailments, from disease, right? From dark forces, from entities. What are dark forces? It's all the negative crap that gets stuck to us in such a heavy density, it almost takes on a life of its own, right? almost like your shadow aspect. It's almost like, a boogity man ghost kind of thing, but it's all on an energetic level. So I see him walking around being like, I don't see your sickness. I see you being well. I see some funky stuff that's like attached to you, like some Velcro, like Nerf gun shit. So let's just take that off and boom, healed. Hey, I'm Jesus. But you can heal people too, because I'm not special, right? He wasn't like putting himself on a pedestal, right? He hung out with like the prostitutes, he hung out with like tax collectors. Jesus hung out with everybody. He wasn't like, so like, what kind of brand of shoes are you wearing? Those aren't cool enough. I don't want to be your friend. Like, no, right? Like, that's not the story. Like, can you imagine Krishna doing that? Can you imagine Krishna being like, love and compassion for all? Well, except for you all. No. Would Buddha do that? Not even a little bit. So now here we are in this now moment. Hopefully I'm like pretty spot on with all this Jesus stuff, because if not, I'm gonna feel like a goober. But that's like the gist of it. So now here we are living in this now moment, now reality, where everyone is showing their shit. Everyone is showing their fear. Everyone is showing their pain. Everyone is showing their confusion, because we can't hold it in anymore. We're not made to hold in these dark forces, right? These entities, these things that control and bind us. We're made to feel and experience them and to let it flow through us. We flow through it so we can grow and expand and ascend, right? Tina's like, it wouldn't be what brand of shoes, it'd be like sandals. What brand of sandals? True story, the weather was hot there. It wasn't this like cool weather stuff. And Marv is sharing that Jesus gave hope, and we can do the same, right? Because we're in this now reality where we're watching the dismantling of big systems that have been binding us and controlling us, right? We're becoming really aware, like eyes open to the political system. It's all a farce. It doesn't matter what side you choose. They're just pawns. Like, that's it. It's a pawn to control us, to keep us working all the time. Let me just keep working and working and working, and I'm never enough, and it's never enough. Like, that's the system that we're realizing that we've been forced into living, so that we can see it clearly and start to dismantle it and create new systems for all of us to be around, right? That's my take and the way I'm seeing this. So as we start to see all this stuff, have y'all ever been duped? Right? Have you ever been told that, like, say like something was real and you find out that it wasn't? I don't know. I was told that there was this bunny that would come around to my house once a year and bring me baskets of chocolate and Cadbury eggs. I believed that so much. And when I found out that it was an untruth, that all of my hopes and dreams of waking up once a spring morning, right? That would be this magical, I get all these gifts, right? I get Cadbury eggs and jelly beans. I don't want the licorice ones, ew, right? Sometimes I'd get nail polish in my Easter basket. I was so excited. But when I realized that wasn't a truth, that wasn't a reality, it was kind of a bummer. And not only was it a bummer, right? So I got my feelings of to deal with. Then I got to realize that the people that told me this were my trusted caregivers and guardians, right? My trusted, loving, no one, wouldn't let anything hurt me, that those were the beings that lied to me. Don't worry, everybody does it, right? Like, I'm not like holding a grudge. I'm just sharing the story that I think everyone can probably like kind of assimilate with. The tooth fairy, right? Yeah, exactly. That feeling, I got my own to deal with, and then now I'm starting to distrust those around me who've told me about this epic bunny that was going to come to my house and hide these eggs that I decorated. Do bunnies even have thumbs? Do bunnies have thumbs? Do they have like a dew claw? Or is it just like this? Right? Like, I don't, Conversation whiplash. Fully aware. Roberta shares, I like that adults would lie about it and get my imagination going and get excited about things, right? It's kind of like, we're going to give you the stimulus check. We're going to give you $1,200. You may have to wait a really long time and you may be in suffering, but that's okay. But you're going to look, it's a carrot, dangle, 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 dangle. And we keep looking for that carrot and we're like, yes. And finally, they're like, oh man, they're going to revolt. Let's go ahead and give them the carrot. Okay, good. Carrot. Okay. Now I'm satiated. I feel okay. I'm starting to trust because this bunny showed up with this damn carrot that it's been dangling, right? So now I start to get hungry again. Starting to get more hungry. Getting more hungry. So now they hold out one of those baby carrots. You know, when you get the bag of the carrot, the baby carrots that are like, I don't even know what, those are just so very strange to me. I don't understand it. And half the time I swear the water in it is like snot. Anyway, I'm also the girl that like buys the carrot that still has like the greenery on it because that's just me. So anyway, no judgment. So then they hold like a little baby carrot. And we're so hungry that we're like, yeah, that little baby carrot will be good. Yeah, okay. Okay. And then we finally get that carrot, right? So we're at this point where it's like, we're realizing that it's just a dangling carrot. We're realizing that the thing that we have trusted is failing us in our life, like life support. Not only are we realizing that that system that said, we'll take care of you, you Americans, that it's been a lie. A lot of us like kind of knew it, but we're starting to witness that stuff. We're starting to for real like become aware of it. When we become aware of these things, right? When we become aware that we've been lied to, that we've been duped, that the wool has been put up over our eyes, right? The wool, like sheep. Anyway, that when we notice that that's what's been happening, we can all feel completely different. I may feel sad and depressed. I may feel anxious. I may feel anger and rage like no other. I may feel confused. I may feel suicidal. I may feel liberated and free at that point. I may rejoice and be like, I knew it all along. Yes. Everyone is going to be and is handling this now reality extremely differently. So that's when I put this question out to the world. WWJD. What would love do? Right? What would love do? When we start seeing perhaps a neighbor who is enraged and fighting, and you can see it in everything that they do and they touch. They're yelling at the cashier. They're honking at the people driving in front of them because they're not going fast enough. They're yelling at every Tom, Dick, and Harry that crosses their path because they don't know how to handle this subconscious, heavy anger that they're experiencing because this wool is being lifted over their eyes. How can we show that person more love? What if it's you that's in that rage space as we're starting to witness the dismantlement of this patriarchal system? What if it's you that's rageful? How can you love you through this? Because what would Jesus do? He had to love himself too, right? He wasn't like, let me love everybody and then, let me go snort something in the back. Wasn't like that, right? He had like extreme self-love because he knew he was from the oneness. That's why he kept being repetitive in his message. Hey, y'all, we're the oneness. We're made of love. Right? I want to see what y'all are saying. Gives us motivation for giving them. Yeah. I love baby carrots. Well, I did until you said snot. But you know what I'm talking about? Sometimes you buy the baby carrot bag and that water's like a little bit murky. Roberta says, I keep saying that the sheep believe the hype because we're taught to believe the hype. We're taught to trust the media. We're taught to trust the government. We're taught to trust the preacher, to trust the education system. That's what we've been taught. We trust that the tooth fairy's real until we're out of teeth. And then we're like, wait, what? Or we wake up to some like parent's hand sliding underneath our pillow and we're like, what are you doing? Talk about shocking right there. God. Tina says, I trusted people to act with respect and dignity towards one another. Feeling let down. Yep. I have something to say about that. And Roberta says, yeah, it's scary how out of control people get. And she's always been trustful. I'm sorry. Tina feeling let down. Who else is feeling let down in the way people are behaving right now? Whatever that is. I mean, I'm talking from like social media posts saying, if you blah, 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 then, which to me says, if you do this, then I will not love you. If you vote for this, then I hate you. If you feel this way, I don't want to be your friend. That's literally saying, if you are this way, I will not love you. So then what makes you so righteous that says that someone is unworthy of love is what we're all made of, whether we're expressing it or not. Blows my mind. And I was so that person. So like I've been there. Like for real. Like I was really good at being that way. I'm not necessarily proud of it. I'm just really aware. Roberta's feeling let down and sad. Yes. Yes, Tina, it is. It is conditional love. And Jesus never was like, love people only on one condition, right? Amanda's in the house. Shares, I wish I was feeling let down. Unfortunately, I'm not let down at all. America was legit built on this shit. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. That's why I was like, some people are gonna be like, I knew it, told you so, right? Not saying you're a I told you so person. I'm saying that a lot of people will be feeling like, I told you so. I've told you this for years. I was a product of this shit that America was built on. I've been suffering for it. I've been paying for it. I've been putting my penance in. Told you so. So then it's like we're stepping up on this like really wobbly soapbox to get to that like I told you so frequency. Would Jesus do that? Would the Buddha do that? Right? Could you imagine climbing up the Himalayas, right, to go talk to like the guru on the top of the mountain? And you go, hey, guru, man, like, what's the meaning of life? First of all, let me catch my breath. I just climbed up this mountain. Okay, now, man, I'm tired. And the guru says, told you so. That would knock you back down the mountain. Talk about feeling let down. That's not a guru. That's no teacher. That's lame. So I feel you on that, Amanda. I feel you on that so much. Especially with, yeah, I'm not going to go into that. I was going to like tangent, and I think that would have gone like way out of there. Yes. Oh, Roberta says that she wants hugs and kisses from her kids, but they're in quarantine again. Whoa, that sucks. Thurman's in the house. Hey, Thurman, how you doing? Says that, yeah, things are pretty crazy right now is what they say. And it is super weird. Like, it's weird. We're living in like the most epic now that we could collectively be living in. Check this out. Think about this time, right? Jesus was walking around with like all of his homies, right? And he's going into different towns. He's hanging out with Buddha on the side because they were friends. He's got Mary Magdalene, that's like his divine partner, practicing divine sacred sexuality and like all this stuff. Like he's like living the best life. He knows he is love. He knows he is healed. He knows he is God's source. He didn't have a global connection then. Like he did in his consciousness, like in his mind's eye and his heart, like he knew it, but he didn't have the interwebs to be like, hey, friends in Australia, remember how loved you are. He didn't have that access. We are at a timeline where we all are globally connected. We have never been more powerful than ever. Just want to remind us all of that little tidbit, that more people are aligned with their higher consciousness and with even the concept of self-love and loving others. Like, people are more aware of like unity consciousness, at least as a thought. Wow, how much more powerful would the world have been, powerful in this frequency of love, right? If Jesus got like duplicated like gremlins all over the world. I feel it would be like heaven on earth, right? 5D consciousness in human form. Yes, Amanda shares, and if I make posts like that, it's not that you're unworthy of love. I'm saying your values don't match mine and I have no use for you in my life. Ooh, that's an interesting share. Can we dive into that? Can we expand on that? I guess. Am I only friends with people because they are useful to me? Would be the question I would ask myself. Am I only a friend because of something that I receive back, because they are in complete alignment with me? I'm personally, I have been friends with users, abusers, pedophiles, addicts, evil, lost, confused, angry. And I remind myself that no matter what, as messed up as I felt them to be, I wouldn't necessarily want to hang out with them. I wouldn't want to read their diatribe and their Facebook posts. I just unfollow or don't friend them. And to me, they are useful. To me, they're useful because I can form more compassion and grace around people that seem to be suffering in their own turmoil. So for me, what would love do? Would love turn its back on those in confusion? Would love turn its back on those in pain? Would love turn its back because it's not useful for love? I think everything is useful for love because love to me just wants to grow itself. I'm so glad you shared that. I would like to know more about your thoughts on that. Everyone, for real. Roberta saying drama. Yes, a lot of it feels like a drama, right? A lot of it feels like a drama. Yes, talking about connected in all the ways now. And Amanda says, for me, I spent so much time in relationships with people full of hate towards other people, family specifically. I know, right? Doesn't that suck? No, I cannot stand on the same side as racist people, and no, we can't be friends. Just my personal boundaries. Yes, yeah. So I'm with you on that one. I don't do well. I'm not gonna. I have a family member. That has spoken about people who have more melanin in their skin in ways that are very uncomfortable for me. To the point where I've spoken up. I've requested them to not. Perhaps they could see the world or another human being through a different lens. And it is not in their capacity to do so in this current now. I send them love and grace and trust that they will see that they are one with them, right? And if they called me in a time of need and said, hey, family member, I'm hungry. Will you feed me? As much as I would love to be like, no, starve, you goober head, I ask myself, what would love do? So I think that having personal boundaries, we need that. I feel like personal boundaries are a must, right? I also call that grace. I feel like grace is the equivalent to having boundaries that says, I will love you so much, and I might love you from this distance. That's grace, because it's saying I will still love you, and I'm going to love you from here, right? I don't need to be your best friend. We don't need to hang out, It's how do I feel about it, right? Am I harboring hate in my heart for the people that are being in ways that I don't like? Or am I harboring love and compassion for those same people, right? I think that's the question of this WWJD. Like when we multiply our ask and make them plural, when we ask ourselves, right? Like, what would Jesus do? What would Krishna do? What would Buddha do? What would love do? What would love do? And then listen to what that is. That may mean, oh, that means I'm going to hang up the phone and actually feel good about it, because maybe that was the first time I stood up for myself in love and grace. But if the answer is what would love do, I'd hang up on that MFer. Is that really what love would do? Is it? Probably not. Right? It's the feeling and intention behind the actions that we do. Right? Oh yeah, Roberta's like, yep, family, same, me too. Yep. It sucks, right? Whoa. The way is narrow, and those who take it are few. Yes. Amanda shares that she's got 10 family members that she no longer chooses to deal with. I'll care for me from afar, right? And I'll be apart from the rhetoric. Yeah. And if they called me in time of need, I'll send them a food referral. That's right. You would be giving them support. It doesn't mean that you would be like, here's my soup and grilled cheese. Anyway, right? You wouldn't necessarily do that because there wouldn't be love behind it, right? It would be like resentment and like, I don't want to do this. But if it's like, you know what? You need help, call this person. So much love is behind that. So to me, that's the answer to the WWJD. JD. I sounded real country just then. I heard it. I heard it as it came out. Ooh, and Tyler says it takes discernment to recognize that boundaries and compassion can exist in the same place and time for someone else. Ooh, yes. Yes, because I think a lot of people don't have an awareness and just like when you're experiencing a trauma, right? Which I think collectively we're kind of going through a lot of that. When we're going through a trauma, we are going to go into one of the stress responders, right? Like we're going to fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So many F's, and I love an alliteration, but I always forget one, so I'm really proud of myself, right? So we're going to do one of these things. So what if I am the fighter, right? What if during my trauma, I am like, I'm fighting, and my neighbor is fawning? Like, let me just take care of everything. Just let me take care of everything. I can do it all. Because either way, we're not handling what's happening because we're freaking out. Understanding that everyone is going through their own mode and timeline of freaking out, of finding compassion, of finding grace, of still being racist or still being a part of the greedy patriarchal judgment righteous system or whatever that is, being able to understand that, to me, that is what Jesus would do. There would be the unconditional understanding, not necessarily agreeing with or being like, yay, high five, you're an abuser, right? Rather, loving the abuser so much that the abuser is inspired to be different. That the abuser remembers that who they are was a child at one point that was abused. And Amanda says, oh, I scrolled too far. Oh darn. Okay, there it is. No hate for those folks. Yeah, but I will also not allow their hate for others in my energy bubble. Thank you. I'm just not there. Maybe I'm not there because I was complicit to their rhetoric for so long. Oh, years of being a part of their narrative. I can't do it anymore. Right? So often, I remember standing up to so many people that would like using racist as like the example in my lived experience, or people would like say really racist things to me. Um, and I always stood up to them, and lost some friends, lost some social networks, lost some social groups. Oh well. And it wasn't like my whole family, right? I can't imagine that, like, at all. Like, like having a family member to be like that is like, that's enough. Ugh. And then I'm born into the family with, like, summertime I get really dark skin and like my hair is like wicked curly. Man, I bet they were disappointed. Haha. Good evening, Tanisha. I'm glad you're joining us. That's so true. It feels good when you think of let me hang up, but compassion to let grace grow and let go. Yes. 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 That's thank you for that. Ooh, what else? What else? What else? Sometimes having boundaries to let them go is freeing, and you can still protect yourself with love. Yes, such an amazing topic. Thank you. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for being here and being a part of it. Like, I'm loving this conversation. I love expanding on this notion of, like, what would Jesus do today? Like, but for real, because we can all be that. We can all let the grace grow within us. It's in there. We are grace. We are love. It's not like we got to find it outside of us, eat it up, put it in, rub it on, whatever, and then we can be the loving self that we are. It doesn't work like that. We are all love. It's the frequency that we all came into being with. It is spirit. We are spirit. We're surrounded. We are the oneness within. Like, we are the universe within the me. I am, right? But remembering that is within me. It may be the faintest little microscopic, teeny tiny baby dot of a light. It's just so teeny tiny, you can't even, but it's there. Because it's energy. It's always there. It's never missing. It's never lacking. It can only grow and transmute and change and alchemize and shift. That's all it can do. I love that. And I find that too, Tanisha, that, like, for me, when I do give myself or share boundaries, when I'm like, no, and it comes from this, like, divine, courageous heart of love, I feel like a bird. I feel like the phoenix that was like, ashes, ashes, bye, fly, fly, freedom. That's how I feel. And in my head, that's what Jesus was doing. He was like, y'all, this is liberation. Remember you're loved. Remember you are loved. Remember, please remember, we're all one. You're my brothers. You're my sisters. I don't care who you are or who you do. You can be gay, straight, lesbian, trans. I don't even care. We're one. That's to me what Jesus was saying. And he acted like it. He wasn't just like lip service. Yes, Mark says, love would teach how to learn to love. And how would one teach to learn to love? In my head, it's by being, right? Someone can tell me all day, right? If you smile at your neighbor, forgive your neighbor. Okay, like, I get the concepts. But if I see someone forgiving their abuser, right? Forgiving the system, forgiving the parent that hurt them, forgiving, then I'm going to be like, well, if they can do it, I know it's humanly possible, right? Like, it's not a mirage. I mean, technically we're all a hologram, but it's energy. Roberta says, I hear my New York and I laugh. That's funny. Michael says, Jane talking about boundaries. Stop. Oh, yeah. In the name of love, because that's grace. No, duh. Yeah, that's right. Welcome. I feel my face getting red. I just embarrassed myself. Oh. You see the color change? Breathe into that one. Thanks, Michael, for calling that song out of me. Anyway, Tanisha shares, I've had a lot of people that have hurt me every year this time of year. Oh, and I've tried to forgive each year, but they've become my trigger. And this year I was ready to stand up for myself and not allow myself to be attacked. Positive thoughts and vibes. And sometimes I realize people don't mean to hurt you with their actions. That's a profound realization, and I am so grateful that you shared that. For reals. I remind myself again that everyone is doing the best they can with the tools that they have. The tools that we each have are based on our lived experience. So if your lived experience was emotional neglect and abuse, your tools will be probably to run and hide. If your lived experience was being yelled at and tormented and abused, chances are your tools will reflect that. And we have these things called epigenetics. It's the storyline of our ancestors, our parents, in our DNA. It's in our DNA. How do we change the DNA? We be different. We be what Jesus was saying we are. We be love. That's why he was like, y'all are already healed. Just be love, like, promise, dude. Because to me, Jesus said dude all the time. To like women and men. Like, I also call everybody dude, and I know that we're all one. That's why I say that. Tyler shares, yes, all oppressors were once innocent until they themselves were oppressed/abused. Mental illness spreads just like physical illnesses do. Exactly. You know, we carry these genetics around in our physical body. We carry the epigenetics in our mental and emotional body. In the yoga teachings, it's the koshas, right? Like it's what language are you wanting to speak? It's all the same thing, right? That's why I was like, do I put WWJD or KD or BD or LD for love? Like, I don't know. Yeah. And then once we realize, right? Once we remember that, like I have my mom's nose, right? I forget sometimes that I have my mom's nose. And when I really start to like look at my nose, other than this like little baby bump, and that's like the mini version of my dad's got like the big bump. His whole side of the family's got like the bump. It's cute. Yeah, but anyway, so I have my mom's nose. And once I really start like looking at that, I start to feel closer to my mom because we have the same nose. We also have the same neurotic tendencies around cleaning. And I used to hate it. I used to hate her for being like that. I used to hate me for being like that. Now when I realize that it's the way she was brought up and the way they were, I find it kind of endearing. And now I not only embrace her and I love it, I also embrace that part of my neurotic, over cleaning, organizational self. And now and in that space, I can like let that go because I formed so much compassion around it. Everything is connected. Everything is patterns. Yes. Roberta shares that your family can wear you out, especially when they're bullies. Yeah, totally. Janisha says, thank you. It's my second time. Love it here. I know. Don't you love it here? I love that you're here. Y'all, I'm telling you, it's so much more fun that you're like here with me. True story. Get out. Roberta shares this. Check this out. This is the reality that we have lived in, you all. That she was told at school that she could not be a Puerto Rican because she was too white. Like, that's how superficial we've been conditioned to be. That we literally have been conditioned to look at someone and label them this. You are this because you look a certain way. If Jesus did that, he wouldn't have been the powerful, Wizard of Oz, healer dude, messenger of love and light. Because he would have been he would have been superficial and judgmental. Like, right out of the get-go, he would have been prejudiced. He wasn't. Like, no stories were like, yeah, Jesus was really cool until he walked into this one group and said, oh, all y'all suck. Not knowing any of them. No, that's not the way the story went. It's not it. Tina shares, I don't know very many people who haven't forgiven their parents for the Easter Bunny thing. I just, I, I just miss my Cadbury eggs, which I do not like those now. I tried them a couple years ago. They don't have that weird egg, like yolky center anymore. It's more like you open it and it's like hard crystal and sugar stuff. Ugh, Cadbury egg fail. Reverse says, I embarrass myself all the time. Yes. Yes. Tyler's like, fact, like, I'm a dude, you're a dude, she's a dude, we're all dudes. Yay. Right? Y'all, so like, let's just think about this. Like, let's give this just like a deep, solid breath in, right? Just like take a big breath in. I'm going to do it. We get a chance. We have an opportunity in this now moment to remember as timelines dissolve and we realize that it's all a eternal now and eternal now that we live in. That Jesus and the idea of Jesus, the idea of Buddha, the idea of Krishna, these beings in human form were the embodiment of unconditional love and acceptance. Love includes peace and joy and harmony and unity and abundance and community and working together and forgiveness. When we remember that that is who we are in our moment, we start to shift everything on this earth plane. Everything. We have an opportunity now to take this into heart, right? I'm not going to concern myself about who's doing what, who's doing who, and how anyone is reacting about any of it. Because I'm going to remind myself that I am divine. I am a fractal of source. I am God source energy within me. I am the embodiment of Christ. Now, how can I be? How can I show this? How can I share this? How can I inspire this? How can I create from this point? How can I move forward through this? Tina shares that Jesus was actually a victim of racism. Still is. People still saying that dude was white. People still in this system say that Jesus was white. Y'all, if a white human lives at the equator, ish, they're gonna get sunburned. It's a math equation that doesn't add up. Tina, he's still a victim of racism, if you think about it, right? Stereotypical racism. Right? Amanda's like, good old white Jesus, right? Like, come on. You know? Like, y'all, Jesus was probably really brown. Duh. And if this is offensive, sorry, love you, mean it. Roberta says my edit button broke, so I threw it out. Good. But hopefully, we are throwing out the edit button that has stopped the full expression of the love that we are, right? The system told us to edit that, to be judgmental, to be fearful. Look at your neighbor, see how they're different, judge them for that, and remember how they're wrong because they're different. That's what the system has taught us, y'all. It's not true. It can be true. Like if that's a belief system and that's how you be, then yeah, then like yes, and then you would attract a lot of fear-based results in your reality. Like what would Jesus do? What would love do? Robert's talking about if Jesus were white, he'd be a crispy critter. Could you imagine? For real. He'd be like, can I get a hat? Can I get some long sleeves? Does anybody have any zinc oxide? Little copper tone? Little Hawaiian tropic? No. Oh, come on. It's like, it just is. So how can we be more like Jesus? Right? Like, how can we be more like love? Be more like love. Not talk about love, not talk about how wrong people are because they're not loving, right? Because then we are not being the embodiment of love. We're not being accepting. Yes, Amanda says the whitewashing of history and religions is real. Yes, it is. Right? It totally is. And that is the system. Like, Amanda, you share this, and I think you and I are both like, duh. Like, we know that, right? There's some people that literally have no idea. They like, this just is not in their reality to know that, to experience that, to see that, because they've been so indoctrinated into this looping system of the same message that's extremely one-sided, right? So then as people realize, oh my God, my entire upbringing has been whitewashed, especially because I was told that God was a white man in the sky. And if that's your belief, it's okay. True story. Like, you believe whatever. Like, you can believe that, like, God is the chair. I'm okay with that. No judgment at all. What I'm saying, though, is that when people start to, oh crap, I've been brainwashed, I've been duped, like we were talking about at the top of the hour, that feeling of when you've been duped, lied to, not told the truth. We all are going to have a different reaction in that space. So now how can we be more like Jesus as people realize what we maybe already have known? What if we're one of them that are realizing, like, oh, man, I didn't realize that this was a part of the system. I didn't realize that I've been a victim of that too until today. Now I got my own grieving process and my own anger to feel. And I also want to be supportive of my neighbor who's feeling the same damn thing, but I can't. Now I feel hopeless. Now I feel helpless. Now I feel overwhelmed. Love doesn't overwhelm. That's why I go back to this, right? No matter where I am in my mind space and my heart space, when I'm having a challenge, I highly encourage every living being to ask themselves, right? What would Great Spirit do? What would this loving, compassionate Mother Earth do? What would love do? What would unconditional love and acceptance do? What would it do? We have the answers within. It is within us. We are it. Yes, Tyler says, I love this conversation so much. I'm going to go home and watch The Matrix. Dude, right? If y'all haven't seen The Matrix, one, that's a movie. Two, just found out that I can't find The Matrix. I couldn't find the movie Cocoon. If you haven't seen the movie Cocoon, that's one to watch. The Goonies is really hard to find right now on any streaming. And I'm like, that's interesting. Just sprinkling that little out there. And then I read what Tina says. Everything is edited, period. How do we interpret the information? Exactly. Yes. Yes. Exactly. And then Tyler says the false reality. If I tell you half of the story, I'm not telling you the truth, because a lie is also withholding information. Right? A lie isn't just saying, that's wrong, that's left and it's really right. Yes, that's a lie. But if I just don't tell you and I know that it would be of service to tell you, that is a lie. It's a false reality. The program, yes, we're seeing the code of the Matrix now. Yes, we are. We're watching it come up to light and dissolve. We're all going to have our own feelings around it, y'all. Everyone is going to have their own feelings around this now. And it's going to be all over the place. And if you're remotely an empath, you might be feeling it too. Ding, ding. So remember your breath. Call on your breath. Call on your own inner guidance. Call on love. Please keep calling on love. Always ask yourself, what would Jesus do? Would Jesus keep turning on the news? Or would Jesus get to calling friends and family and saying, I love you. You are loved. I think of you often. Because he can't go hang out because it's COVID season. He doesn't have a mask. Marv says, here's the real dupe. You need to get to know someone in order to love them. And that is a lie that you can love without knowing a person. here's what you need to get to. Oh, yeah, right? We've been told that, like, you can't love them until you get to know them. You can't trust them until. Here's the thing. You can love every sentient being upon this earth plane. You can love every tree on this earth. You can love every fish on this earth, every cloud, every human being that is breathing the same air as you. You can love them just as much as you can love yourself, period, and as much as anyone else, whether you know them or not. Thank you for that reminder, Marv. I appreciate that one. Yes. All right, y'all. I could talk about this for days because this is just like what lights me up because it's now. So let's just take a last breath in together, a collective breath. And just let it go. Remember how loved you are. Remember that you are loved. Remember that you are loved. Remember that you are love. Remember, the answer is within, and it is love. I'm going to read what Amanda wrote, and then I'm going to tune out. Here's something cool. The internet is free. Disenfranchised communities are not responsible for educating other communities. If you question Jesus being white because he was a Middle Eastern man, look it up. The more you know, the more you grow. Yes, knowledge isn't just a power, but it's love. Yeah. Remember how loved you are. Please remember how loved you are. Remember, love is within. We all deserve to remember it. I'm not going to remember it until I witness it or experience it around me. Be the inspiring embodiment of love that reminds people that they too are loved. Be the healer that you are. Share your love and your light regardless of the feelings of anger and frustration and confusion and all those things. That's fine. Feel your feels, man. But feel and be the love as well. You can do both. You can do all. You're a superhuman. You survived 2020. High five. I love you all so much. And I am so grateful that you all tuned in to hang out with me tonight. Gah! Seriously, I love you all so much. If this resonated for you, please go to the YouTube, subscribe to the PRN YouTube channel. We can put that link on this comment thread. Share this video. Share it if you think anyone would resonate with this or if it could be of service. Please share it. Remind people through your words, through your thoughts, and through your actions so that we all may be happy and liberated and free, sovereign beings. I love you all so much. Can't wait to see you all tomorrow morning at 10 so we can do something creative. I'm really excited about tomorrow's offering, y'all, if y'all want to tune in. It'll be on the Promise Resource Network Facebook page. I love you all so much. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Keep breathing. Keep being. You got this. We got this. We are love. Okay. I love you all. Bye.